How you doing tonight? You doing okay?
Doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So, all right, I got you there. Got you there. Got you there. Let me turn on the network. All right, you hang on. I'm gonna start the show and I'll bring you on. Okay?
Okay.
All right, hang on. Hey everybody, it's outdoors. Are you ready to light this candle? It's unknown files. Here you go. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go. All right, welcome to this edition of the Unknown Files Show here on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. It's file number 23. We're going to be talking about Minnesota Bigfoot. That's right, Minnesota Bigfoot tonight. How about that? We're going to have a fun show for you. So I'm going to wave hi, make sure I got everything going on there. And hey, Hoyt, Tony, Greg, good to see you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And let's go bring our guest on tonight. When I was up in walleye fishing up at Lake Winnie the other, 2 weeks ago? And I told you that I met a really nice gentleman. My buddy Gary Peck introduced me to. His name is Don Sherman. Got a chance to meet him and his wonderful significant other, Andrea. And we sat down and had coffee, and I heard some amazing stories. Hey, Roger Wild up in New York. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And I just I couldn't believe how neat everything was. And he showed me all of his tracks. So let's go talk to Native American artist, my buddy Don Sherman. Don, good evening. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, good to hear from you again. And I want to thank you for your hospitality while I was up there trying to chase some walleyes.
You're welcome.
Always good to get up there. I love that part of the country. And
It's
folks,
beautiful.
Don and Andrea were nice enough. They sent me a casting of one of the Bigfoot tracks that Don found on the encounter that we're going to be talking about. I got that a couple weeks ago, and Don, I really appreciate that. That's awesome. I got it sitting right over there on my other desk, and I look at it all the time. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, hey Anita, Joe, good to see you. Gregory, good to see you. Dustin, how you doing? Boy, we got a bunch of people on here tonight. Always good to see everybody on the Unknown Files show. So Don, you are tell everybody you live up on the Leech Lake Reservation up in right up there by Lake Winnie, and you're a tremendous artist, man. You really are talented. I got a chance to see some of your work while I was at your house. Really,
Okay.
you're welcome. Really neat stuff.
Thank you.
And tell everybody what nation are you? What nation are you an elder in?
I'm the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe.
Ojibwe. There you go. Just wanted to make sure I said it right one more time. So I find all that stuff very fascinating. So thank you again for everything. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you got how long now? I don't want to tell everybody how old you are because they wouldn't believe it if they saw your picture. But you've been around for a long time in the woods, chasing around, seeing things. And uh, you, did you ever? When did you first start hearing stories or hearing or seeing anything that you couldn't explain or stuff about the big fella? When did that first come to you?
Well, I'll tell you my age. I'm 70 years old, and I feel like I'm 40.
You look like you're 40.
But yeah, I never really thought about. I've been in the woods on my own since my dad taught me to hunt when I was about 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So all through the years, I've been out in the woods, and sometimes I'll spend all day, especially when I was a teenager. I'd just walk all day long, take a rifle along with me, and just enjoy the woods. And I was about 20 years old when I saw Bigfoot. It was west of Balclip here. I would say about 5 miles west of Balclip, and I was deer hunting. And it was a beautiful morning around 10 o'clock or 10:30 in the morning. I was coming up along this big swampy area there was a old logging trail,
Uh-huh.
and the sun was behind me, and I come up this hill and I saw this. The only way I could describe the color would be a rusty brown or kind of a reddish color, reddish brown. Huge thing standing about 50 yards from me, 50, 60 yards. Um, and I was trying to figure out what the heck it was. I've never seen anything like it. Like a moose went through my head at that time. It's not a moose.
Right.
I don't know what it is. I couldn't make out any facial features, but you could see the hair. Not fur, but hair.
So it was kind of like, you said it was like lengthy too. I mean, it wasn't like short. It was like 4 or 5 inches long.
Was tall. It was tall.
Yeah.
And the hair was probably, I would say, 10 inches long or more.
Wow. So definitely longer than what a bear's fur coat is.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan Fox, how you doing, buddy? Ryan's up there by you. You know Ryan, don't you, Don?
Ryan Fox. Yeah. I know Dan Fox.
That's his son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, good to see you. Russell Place, good to see you, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, Ryan's a good guy. He used to do the TV show with me a long time ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been in the woods. You were raised in the woods, so you know, and there's tons of black bear up there. That's one of the places that I go bear hunting with Gary Peck. But you definitely know the difference between a bear and something else, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this. So, and I was sitting there trying to figure out what it was, and I don't know how much time went by, but I'd say maybe 5-10 minutes. I just kept staring at it. And I didn't dare walk any closer because I didn't know what the heck it was. And I was, so as I was looking at it, a loud tree knock to the right of me was really loud. I heard this knock. And it was almost like it was right next to me.
Really?
So I turned to look, see what caused that noise. And there was nothing there. And I could see for a long ways. There was not much underbrush. Well, that kind of freaked me out. It says, what the heck is going on? Look back, and that thing was gone.
Yeah. Hey, Gary.
Well,
Gary Lee.
Kind of freaks me out.
That would freak me out, Don, to be honest with you. Gary Lee Peck is watching us. Hi, Gary Lee. I missed you, buddy. I wish I could have seen you. Brandon Peck. Hi, Brandon. Good to see you. Hank Miller in Iowa. Thank you for listening tonight. You know, Don. Hey, Mike Lynn. It's so thick up there, Don. I mean, you honestly, if you get off the main trail up in northern Minnesota where you guys and Gary are, I mean, you can get turned around pretty easy. I mean, it's super thick.
Oh yeah.
You know, but you said it was you said it was pretty open though. So, you know, it
depends on where you're at.
Okay.
Like I went to get my cameras. I had 4 cameras set out. And I set them out earlier this spring, so I wasn't going to go pick them up and swap out the SD cards.
Uh-huh.
Well, my first place where I went to put my camera, of course, back when I set it up, there was no leaves, but I get there was leaves so thick and tall, I couldn't see more than 5, or I'd say 2 feet in front of me.
Wow.
So needless to say, and it was getting towards evening, and I didn't want to do anything foolish and walk in the woods and never knowing what you're gonna encounter.
Oh no!
So I had to turn around, so I never did get a chance to get my SD cards because it was just way too thick.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you from personal experience. I've been up there in the woods a lot, walking out by myself at night. It can get a little spooky in them swamps, and I mean,
the only reason is. Yeah, this one particular place where I have my camera up when I was there this spring,
mm-hmm.
and this is where I seen all these popple trees, or maybe the diameter of them, I would say they're probably about 2-3 inches thick.
Mm-hmm. You mean
And
2 or 3 inches around in circumference, Don?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Maybe a little bigger.
Okay.
But they were busted out. There was a whole bunch of them. And as I walked into the area, because I was scouting around for deer hunting for this fall,
Mm-hmm.
and as I walked into the area, I heard a loud crash, something walk or moving away from me. So I didn't think too much of it, maybe bear or deer or whatever. But as I was walking along, I seen freshly broken, these saplings, or what do you call them, of popple. And they were busted off around 6 to 7 feet up in the air, anywhere from 5 to 7 feet. And so I examined them. I said, because they were just fresh as could be. There's no marks on them, no scratches, nothing. So that it's kind of odd. I've seen it 2 other places like that. But there's also there's a guy that Steve, what's his name? He runs that channel, howtohunt.com from Alaska, that guide.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's been a guide for many years, and he's seeing the same thing in Alaska, and he doesn't know what causing them.
Yeah, I actually talked
The
to...
only thing he can think of is got to be a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot or whatever.
I actually talked to a guy the other day, Don, and he said that he came across the same thing. They were 3 to 4 inch trees in circumference, and they were actually just twisted. Bears can't do that.
No.
A grizzly bear. You get 1,000-pound, 10-foot grizzly bear when they're rubbing on and stuff. They can break stuff, but I mean these were actually twisted, like you had 2 hands, like a imposable thumb or whatever that's called, where you could actually grip it and twist it.
But these were not twisted. These were just like they were busted right off.
They were just busted right off.
They were not bent over. There was the saplings or trees or little trees were still straight.
Okay. Well, could a moose do that, Don?
A moose would leave antler marks.
They would leave scuff
or some kind of a mark on it.
So if a moose was raking that and busting them, you would have seen the...
It would be all scarred up. Yep.
And these weren't.
These have nothing on them.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing, other than it's like they were broken with somebody's hand.
Yeah. No, I get it. So was that when is that when you seen one when you were 20 that you saw that, or was that later?
It's in basically the same area.
Okay. All right. So, you live on a very, very large, thick tract of timber. The reservation there, I mean, there's literally thousands and thousands of acres there. So
Yep.
when you let's just go back to when Gary told me about you. You had a really famous encounter with somebody that was fishing. Let's talk about that first, and then we'll come back to life on the reservation and what some of your friends and stuff what you talk about. So let's talk about that encounter that you were actually on a TV show and told it.
Oh, that was the Sammy Cleveland incident on 6 Mile Lake.
Yeah, let's talk. Can you tell everybody about that one?
Yeah, well, I think it was Finding Bigfoot made a movie about that.
Yeah.
But Sammy Cleveland was out on 6 Mile. He was fishing for bass, and it was getting towards evening. And as he was casting, he heard a splashing noise behind him, and he turned and he saw this blonde-colored Bigfoot wading in the water like it was looking for something. Then it must have saw him. So anyway, he got kind of scared there, so he was going to head to shore. Well, this thing cut him off. Wouldn't let him get to his vehicle, so he tried to paddle another direction, and it kept cutting him off. And finally, he called his friend.
Can't remember whose friend was.
I don't remember what his name was, but he came to rescue him. So he gets to the boat landing and starts honking his horn. And well, this thing then headed off into the woods. So Sammy Cleveland called me the next morning. So I said, well, okay, I'll meet you out there. So we get out there, and and we found these tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he found them before I did, but he's gonna. So we get out there, and he had his canoe out there. So we took a ride in the canoe, and he kind of showed me where this thing walked, and you could actually see the footprints in the water on the bottom of the lake there. It was only maybe about 1.5 feet deep, and you could see where it kicked over logs and stuff like that, and you could see where it walked into the shore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we pulled in their canoe when we walked in there, and there's we found the track right away, and it was walking across a wet low area. So there was only one good track that I could cast. The rest were too wet.
Now, Don, when you had all the castings that you showed me on your kitchen counter, you guys, that was the first track, right? The first casting was from that incident.
From that incident, yeah.
Okay, so folks, later on tonight when we get through with the show, I'll post a picture of that on the Unknown Files page on Facebook, where I'll have this copy of the show streamed, and that way you can see that casting. But how far back did that trail go, Don? How far back did you try to trail it?
I trailed it for probably, I don't know, I'd say 60, 70 yards, and couldn't find any more of its tracks.
Okay.
We could see where it stepped into this low, wet, muddy area, and it stepped on a log and knocked some moss off in it, and kept on walking.
Okay.
But it was headed towards a big swamp where it's pretty wet.
You know, and I hear that. Hey, Brandon Peck, Mark James, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. Good. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate you watching tonight. So I hear that from when we talk to other people here on the show. They say that a lot of folks say the same thing. They'll have tracks, or they'll be able to see sign, and then it just disappears. I mean, you know, you get an animal that's 7-8 feet tall and weighs 600-700 pounds, Don. How does that happen? I mean, how are they able to to do that?
To do what?
To not leave
How are they adapted about disappearing? I mean, are they using trees or I mean, I know there's a bunch of theories out there, Don. I'm just asking what you think, how they can do that. Because to me, I know bears, can walk, and you can't hear a bear. A lot of times, you'll see a bear before you hear it. So, I know different animals can be really stealthy when they walk, but how do you think they can just not make tracks anymore? They just are they walking on other stuff, or how are they using the trees? How are they doing it?
I'm no expert. I don't really know.
Yeah, no.
Let me tell you. I'll tell you something that here's a possibility here.
Okay.
We have a Sons of God church here in Ball Club, and the pastor I knew really good. He told me a story when he was deer hunting over in Hibbing area.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like about 6 inches of snow on the ground, and there was 6 of him and his 5 other buddies were staying at a hunting shack, and they were the only ones hunting the area. Well, anyway, the pastor was up in his deer stand. It was around about 10 o'clock. He saw this old guy walking in front of his deer stand. He had a red wool hat, red pants, a red jacket, wool jackets, and a wool pants. And he had gray hair and was wearing glasses. Well, this old guy was walking by, and he stopped in front of his stand, and this old guy looked at him and waved at him. So pastor waved back, and this old guy kept on walking. Pastor said, gee, I wonder who that guy was, because we're supposed to be the only ones hunting back here.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, he waited in his stand for another half an hour, then got off his stand about 10:30 and headed back to the hunting shack. Well, all of his buddies were already there. And he asked everybody as he walked in there, he said, hey, I thought we're the only ones hunting back here. I just saw an old guy walk in front of my stand. And they all said at the same time, what did he look like? And so he described them, and everybody and all the guys was just got white as a ghost. I said, "Oh my gosh, you just described one of the old hunters that used to hunt this area years ago, but he's long past." So they all went, well, let's go follow his tracks and see what's going on over there. So they went to pastor's deer stand and walked to where that guy walked in front of them. So they found the tracks. So they followed him for about 50 yards, and it just vanished, just stopped.
Huh.
Like the guy just vanished. So then they followed the tracks to see where he came from, and the same thing. Just tracks started appearing in the snow. So that's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, that is bizarre. And Don, when I ask you something, I'm not trying to ask you to be an expert. I'm just asking questions because you know more about this stuff than I do. But when we were
But
up,
I just want everybody to know I'm not an expert at this either. I'm learning as I go.
well, no, that's okay. That's all right. I just want you to I want you to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I just my experiences and stuff in the woods, and got a lot of them.
Well, you got great woodsmanship skills. That's why I'm asking you because I go tracking with you any day.
But that's one of my
so there
theories. Is it's possible that they go in and out of dimensions?
Mm-hmm. Or what about spiritually? I mean, you said that they saw the spirit of that hunter. When I was talking to Mel Skahan, he's a Native American on the West Coast, really super nice guy, and he said the same thing that you did. He was a national. This is the gentleman I told you about when we were having coffee. He was a forester on the reservation. That was his job, and him and another guy they saw a little one and an adult Bigfoot. They said, and they went and tracked, and they said that they would actually go tree to tree and try to blend in. But he said after a while they just totally lost the tracks in the snow. And he goes, Dan, how is that? He goes, how is that possible? And his theory was that maybe they're part spirit.
I'm starting to think that too, or a UFO connection, because every time we see Bigfoots, there's always a UFO sighting.
See, and I hear that.
We don't see a Bigfoot, we don't see any UFOs.
And I hear that a lot as well. What there's every nation, Native American nation has a word or a name for Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Is it and do does the tribe or the shamans or the spiritual the leaders, and I'm asking Don, I wanted to ask you this the other day and I forgot. Do they a lot of that? Mel said that they actually believe that they're I look at it this way, Don. I'm a Christian and I believe in God with all my heart. I believe Jesus is with me every day. Now,
and I believe the same thing.
Yeah, and I was talking about this yesterday with a friend of mine. He goes, "How do you know these things?" I go, "I don't know if they're real." I said, "But I kind of would like to think they're real." But he goes, "But I said, here's the thing. It's kind of a faith thing because I know in my heart God is real and Jesus is real, and I have to have a faith. It's a spiritual thing." And with your culture with the Native Americans, is it more of a spiritual culture with Bigfoot as far as a relationship with the tribe? Am I asking that right?
Well, I think you're trying. Our people think that they're just another tribe of people, not apes.
Yeah, I
not even close to. Just because they have hair doesn't mean that they're apes. I even have cousins that have long hair.
Yeah. Well, and you told me in the Bible.
You know what I'm saying?
No, and you told me when we were up there having coffee about Ezekiel in the Bible that they said he was a hairy man.
Not Ezekiel, that was Elijah.
Elijah, thank you, Elijah.
Elijah and Elisha.
Yeah, and
they describe Elisha Elijah as a hairy person. Well, the newer translations, they say is like a hairy coat.
Okay. So there's a
But
chance. So there's a chance he might have been part of those people.
I'm starting to think that.
Okay. Well, the
I've
Bible.
seen I've seen old religious paintings, and I can't find them anymore. But it showed it, people talking to a race of human beings with long hair.
Yeah. Hey, Dave
And I
Bailey.
can't find that anymore.
Brant, how you doing, buddy? Tracy, good to see you. Tim Strobel, thank you for watching tonight. Appreciate you guys. So, so Don, I mean, now,
There's another thing I wanted to add to that Sammy Cleveland story.
yeah, go ahead. We got plenty of time. Go ahead.
Okay. Sammy Cleveland also saw strange lights in the sky. That when he saw that Bigfoot.
Okay.
So a UFO or strange lights, whatever.
So, do you think that's a I mean, and you're like the 20th person to tell me that. So there's a pattern there, right?
Yes.
And I don't know. I mean, does it have to be a UFO? Couldn't it be a spiritual thing?
That too.
Yeah, because you said that you said, and Mel told me the same thing on out in Oregon. There are a lot of times they're out on the reservation up in the mountains and they see lights. They're like blue rods, and I mean they're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no way that these are people. There's just nobody out there, and they'll see different like orbs or rods of light. Do you guys see that up in at the up there in Minnesota, stuff like that?
I haven't seen any. We've seen orbs, but no rods of lights.
Okay, all right. See, I think there's more of a spiritual thing going on here too. I think that's part of the reason.
Yes, I believe so too.
Yeah, that's just my hypotheses. Hey, Chris Hall, how you doing? So you saw one when you were 20, and then you Sammy Cleveland. You went out there and then looked at that. What other encounters have you had?
Well, here's about 3 years ago, my niece. It was in the springtime. She came in to visit us, and as we were talking, visiting, and she told me this story about what happened to her last fall, right after deer season. She said she saw a Bigfoot get hit by a vehicle. So I said, really? So I said, well, tell me your story. I said, how come you didn't tell me last fall? That was the first thing I asked her.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me last fall? She said, because I was scared. They told me not to say nothing.
And who was they, Don? The authorities?
Highway Patrol.
The Highway Patrol?
Highway
Okay.
Patrol, the Sheriff Department. There was a bunch of people there.
Okay.
DNR. They had dogs. Well, anyway, this is how she said she was coming, riding with her girlfriend, coming from south of Ball Club. They were headed towards Ball Club.
Okay.
And this is just by the Mississippi Bridge. And there was another car coming. And all of a sudden, she saw this thing come out of the ditch. This truck was headed south. My niece was headed north. This thing came out of the east side of the road and was headed to the west, and it came out of the ditch. And she saw it. She said, "What is that?" "I don't know." She said, "Looks like Chewbacca to me." Anyway, so as they was crossing the road, they got pretty close to it. This truck hit it.
Uh-huh.
She saw this thing roll into the windshield, and it landed down into the ditch. Then she saw it get up and take off again. In the meantime, they both stopped because she thought she was that close to it. She thought she might have hit it too, but she didn't.
Gotcha.
But so anyway, so they stopped and they're looking at the damaged vehicle, and the windshield was caved in. And so the person then that hit this Bigfoot creature, they called 911 and they got
Highway Patrol showed up.
Highway Patrol was the first one to show up. Then a couple of the sheriff departments, they showed up. Then game wardens, DNR, and they had dogs with them. So they questioned them, asked them what happened. They explained them. It was not a bear. It was not anything else. She said it was walking on two legs.
So it wasn't a moose, too. It wasn't a moose, right?
It was not a moose. It was nothing else. It was not a bear or anything. It was a hairy being on two legs running across the road.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, they told my niece that they gonna have to leave because they're gonna be blocking the roads off, and they told them, do not ever talk about this, and they kind of like pretty much threatened them. So anyway, so this other vehicle, their vehicle still ran, but the windshield was pretty well caved in. So they just pulled it out of their vehicle and just threw it off to the side of the road so they could drive their vehicle, and they didn't live that far away.
Right.
So they took off, and then she took off, and they had the road blocked off for about 3 hours. And then that was the last I heard of it. So then, anyway, as she was telling me the story, well, do you have any idea where it was at? I said, well, so let's go out there and take a look at it and see if we can find out. So we went out to that area, and she didn't quite know exactly where it was at, but we went up and down the road, we searched, and I'll be darned if I didn't find that windshield.
And you still got that, right?
I still got it, yeah. I got it in the bag.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it. I just put it in the windshield. I didn't want to touch it.
Yeah. Did you guys ever find out who the truck belonged to, or who that hit whatever it was?
They're not willing to talk.
Okay. All right.
And I know the person that my niece was riding with. She has a picture of the vehicle.
Yeah.
The truck. So I've been trying to get that picture, but I'm not getting much for cooperation.
Well, now here's.
So it's still under investigation. But
yeah, tell them what you told me about. Tell them.
I put it on I joined this Bigfoot site on Facebook and told that story about it. Then I got a response back from it must have been a deputy. He said, yeah, we got the report on that. He responded back, and he said there was on a report. It said they hit a moose, and they gave the moose carcass or moose meat to the natives here in Balclub. And everybody knows that's a lie because nobody got no moose meat here in Balclub. We know pretty much everybody around here.
Yeah, so they cover.
So it's just a made up story,
right?
Cover up or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm telling you. Hey, Don, hang on. I got to take a real quick break. Can you hold on for me?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to pick this back up with Don Sherman from Minnesota. You guys stay there. Chris Hall, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Robert, I appreciate you tuning in. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back in about 3-4 minutes. Hang on for me, and we'll be right back on the Unknown File Show on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. You're heading out on your morning hunt well before sunrise, so you can stay undetected from that giant you've been chasing all season. Wouldn't it be nice to know exactly where your stand or blind location is without letting anyone know where you're at walking in? Have you ever heard of Onyx? Onyx is one of the most important pieces of hunting gear that you can use and always have with you. The Onyx Hunt app allows you not only to get from your truck to your hunting spots, it also allows you to mark and save your parking spots, scrapes, food plots, rub lines, or some possible next stand locations. The Onyx Hunt app is also a great way to see your property and know where you stand. Onyx is a mobile app that you can take anywhere. It's recognized by game wardens all around the country as a valuable hunting tool. So, if you want to always know where you are and have the ability to save information that will help you be a better hunter, go download the Onyx Hunt app at your app store today.
Heading to your favorite outdoor spot? Is your hunting, fishing, or utility knife ready for any task? Well, if you used the original Work Sharp knife and tool sharpener before you left, you bet they are. The Work Sharp knife and tool sharpener is designed to sharpen every knife you own. By using changeable, flexible abrasive belts, the sharpening system is able to sharpen a variety of knives, including curved and serrated knives, tonto blades, fillet knives, gut hooks, axes, and even kitchen knives. The WorkSharp knife and tool sharpener does this with precision angle sharpening guides and flexible abrasive belts to ensure the proper 20-degree angle every time. Each WorkSharp knife and tool sharpener is assembled in the USA by a family-owned and operated company. Customer service is always a call away. So if you love the outdoors and depend on a sharp knife, consider checking out one of the WorkSharp knife and tool sharpeners or the WorkSharp guided field sharpener at a store near you, or anytime at WorkSharpTools.com. That's WorkSharpTools.com.
Let's talk about a story, an Iowa story about a dream that took several years to come true in Osceola, Iowa. It's the story of Revelton Distilling Company. These fine distilled whiskeys, gins, and vodkas were born from the labor of Rob and Christina Taylor. It's amazing hearing the customers' descriptions of how unique each bottle looks and how each spirit tastes and satisfies with every sip. From the honey whiskey to the whiskey and cream, or the robust mulberry gin, American gin, or vodkas. Revelton Distilling visitors can't believe the flavor profiles the mixologists are creating at the distillery every day. Revelton Distillery is open Wednesday through Sunday in Osceola. They're located at 1400 West Clay Street, right off I-35. Revelton Distillery fine spirits are also available at your local grocery and other retailers around Iowa. Please check them out online at ReveltonDistillery.com or visit them at the distillery. If it's time to celebrate or just time to sit back and unwind, well, then it's time for a Revelton moment.
Hey America, when you barbecue, cookies is the one. Lots of flavor, lots of goodness, thick and rich, lots of fun. Hey America, when you barbecue, try Cookies barbecue sauce for a treat. Cookies barbecue sauce is the barbecue sauce America loves to eat.
All right, welcome back to the Unknown File Show. File number 23, Minnesota Bigfoot with Don Sherman, and we got Don on the phone there. Don, you still there, my friend?
Yep, I'm still here.
There you go. Yeah, I just think that's crazy that they sit there and would tell everybody that we gave the meat to the folks on the reservation, and how would they not know that you guys would not know that that's not true?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Let's see, like this good stuff. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Had another. My neighbor here had a sighting here last spring, and this is he was coming from the Bina area, headed to Ball Club, and he was just actually at about 3 miles out of Ball Club when about 10:30 in the morning he comes pulling in my yard. And he was all shaken up. He said, "Don, I just saw a Bigfoot cross the road in front of me, about a block or so away." He said, when it was about 10:30, it was a beautiful day out. So they're not really nocturnal neither.
Yeah. How many?
They came across the road in front of him, and he said when it walked across, it took not very many strides, but when it went across the road, he said that. He said it like it glided across. The head didn't even bob.
Yeah.
And he mentioned the head was bigger, out of proportion to this body. The head was bigger.
Hey, Mark James, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for watching. Don, how many sightings do you hear about up in the North Woods up there where you live? A lot.
A lot, and it varies whenever there's, like I said, if there's Bigfoot or if there's UFO sightings, we get a lot of Bigfoot sightings.
Well, how many?
But lately, we haven't, at least I haven't, or we haven't had any, nobody's been calling us on any sightings or anything, so it's been pretty quiet.
How many UFO sightings up there between Leech and Cass Lake, Red Lake, Winnie, Little Winnie, Ball Club, and all those areas of water? How many
A lot.
UFOs do you? I mean, like a dozen a year or half a dozen? How many you think?
I would say 10 plus
10+ sightings a year up in
or
that area.
more. Yeah.
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 Okay. All right. Now one of the things that Don and Andrea was kind enough to show me, they showed me some video of a big bull moose up there. And Don, I got to tell you, I had a really good fishing trip up there. I caught some really nice walleyes with Gary, and
Yeah.
thanks to Chris at the Pines Resort up there. We love Chris. And getting a chance to sit down and have a cup of coffee with you and to meet you guys, and seeing that moose was like the icing on the cake for me. It's so nice to see the moose coming back up there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nobody knew that this big bull lived around here.
Yeah. Well,
I've
that's
seen a lot of moose, but nothing these big antlers like this.
yeah. He's a beast, isn't he?
Oh my gosh, he was big.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. So what do you? So I mean, do you go and talk to people a lot up in that area? I know there's another couple people that talk with people that see stuff and have reportings. Do you just how many times a year do you get to visit with people about Bigfoot?
Whatever people call.
Do they?
This year it's been pretty quiet, so we haven't. Bob Olson and I have been doing this together since 2006.
Okay.
He's from Deer River.
Yeah, I know.
But,
That's the guy that owns the mechanic shop, right?
the auto body.
Yeah, the auto body shop. That's right.
Yeah.
How many since 2006? How many sightings or reports have you guys got?
Oh my gosh, we probably got over 100.
Really?
100 or more.
Wow. So now, what?
A lot of amazing stories.
Oh yeah, and you know I love the stories. I think that's really neat. What do you? I mean, what do you think it's going to take? I mean, I don't want to. I would never shoot one myself. I don't. I would because they're people to me. If they're out there and if I was bow hunting and I had one walk by and it looked at me and from what you described and Mark Parker and everybody else that's told me that they've seen them, there's no way I could draw back on one of those. I would. To me, they're just too human. But what do you think it's going to take for to get proof that we know they're there? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think nobody's gonna believe anything unless somebody has a body. But I hope nobody shoots one.
Well, no, I don't want to see.
We got all kinds of videos. We got all kinds of game trail cameras of them. We got all kinds of tracks of them. I mean,
hair samples.
Goodness, that's how much more evidence do people need to know that they exist.
Yeah.
I mean, Native Americans all across North America here have seen them.
Yeah, for generations.
For hundreds of years.
Yeah, for generations.
Exactly.
So, well, and that's I get asked that quite a bit. Why don't we have trail cam pictures or videos? And I tell people, well, there are pictures. Yeah, but I always say I would say probably 95% of them are they're not right, they're not real, but it's that 5 to 10% that you look at them and it's like there's no way that's somebody in a suit, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. What's the
They got longer arms. Their arms are longer than any human.
What's the one picture or video that you've seen that stood out above any other besides the Gimlin and Patterson film?
Oh, I can't really.
Well, just up in your area. I mean, what have you seen up there that you go, there's no way that's not real? Does anything come to mind what you've seen?
No, I can't.
Okay.
There isn't that many photographs and pictures of them around here. I'm working on it though. I got a lot of cameras out.
Yeah, and tell everybody how stealthy you are about putting your cameras out.
Well, I've been catching moose and bear. I caught some of the biggest, fattest bear I've ever seen in my life. But I've been trying I'm going to be trying some different things here, different methods of putting my cameras out. For example, I want to keep them up as high as possible. That way, and that doesn't prevent the bears from getting them, but it does help some. I had my camera up 10 feet up and extended out on a about 20 inches from the tree.
Uh-huh.
I made a bracket for the camera, and it's solar powered. Sends me pictures and all that over my cell phone. But keeping them up high, I even had a bear knock that camera down.
Yeah.
Climb up the tree and knock it down. I even got him on my camera as my camera fell.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
they're bad about that. I've had them
yeah.
take my cameras out of Gary's place. When I always have to put them in a little metal cage so they don't eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always try to descent them.
Yeah. Well,
We've got these solar powered lights, you can put up into a tree and they do all kinds of colors. You can program whatever color you want, but it's operated by, solar powered.
Uh-huh.
So putting the camera where a LED light up high, then have the camera below it. My thoughts, Bigfoot might think it's a UFO and go under it. I don't know. I'm just trying different things.
No, that's okay. Well, didn't you tell me you put one in a stump or something and hid it? Like a cutout or something? Weren't you doing something so they wouldn't see it?
No.
Okay.
I hide them on trees pretty good.
Okay.
I camouflage with them.
Okay.
But even then, I had 4 cameras out last year, and all 3 of my cameras were all bent down. Not damaged or not moved, just bent down.
Did you get anything Did you get anything of the camera being moved?
Nope.
Nothing. Now,
That's the odd part about it, because I was missing some dates in it.
Huh.
It's like somebody shut the camera off for a while and then turned it back on.
That's crazy.
I've never had that happen before either.
I mean, and somebody would have just came and you think somebody was messing with your camera, or you just don't know what happened?
I don't know. I don't know if it's paranormal or what. I have no idea what would cause that.
Yeah.
Especially, missing time.
Missing days like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. What are you guys? What's up for the rest of the summer? Are you going to be doing anything fun and exciting, or are you getting ready for the fall? What you doing?
Our biggest thing is we get ready for deer season. But we're going to be going, as soon as the leaves go away, we're going to be going more camping in remote areas.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the only plans we got.
That's all right.
Are you a little more ATV riding and stuff?
Yeah. Are you going to? You going to go? Are you going to go check out any other hot spots around Minnesota? You and Andrea?
Yep. We're going to be doing that as well. Okay. Later on this fall.
Is there one spot in Minnesota, northern Minnesota, southern, east, or west? Is there one spot that's got more activity than others, or are there's just sightings everywhere?
6 Mile Lake Road.
Where's that? Where's that, Don?
That's just up between Bena and Ball Club.
So that's just right up there by Winnie, then.
Yeah. Yep.
6 Mile. What is it called?
6 Mile Lake area.
That's the hot spot?
I call it 6 Mile Lake Road, yeah.
Okay. Now, have you guys ever noticed any, what do they call that? Hey, did we talk about portals and stuff like that on the reservation?
Yeah.
Tell everybody about that. I want to make sure it was you that told me this. Were you the one that told me that when Native American villages, they would always set them up near portals? Did you tell me that?
Yeah.
Can you tell the folks about that real quick for me?
Okay. Years ago, when the Ojibwe tribe here would establish a village or wherever,
mm-hmm.
they would the medicine men would make that choice, and they like to establish villages where they can draw their power from, where their power is the strongest. Mm-hmm. And Balco here seems to me It's a hot spot for portals because a lot of the residents here in Balcom they all see a lot of strange things all the time.
Like that hunter.
There was a hunter that was him and his girlfriend were on a deer stand, and they heard a loud screaming noise, and they could see branches and trees swaying and breaking, and so they got the heck out of there. They never did go back hunting, I don't think, ever again.
Yeah.
And we've had another person who saw one. They dropped him off because he was going to make a deer drive or something. They were deer hunting, and he saw one right away, just out of Ball Club, walking in a swamp. And the minute he saw it, he took off, headed back to Highway 2 and hitchhiked back towards Ball Club or Deer River where he lived.
He got out. He got out of there,
He got out of there. Yep. He didn't even stick around.
Yeah, I can't.
So, and then there's other people who have been blueberry picking here, just northwest of Ball Club here. And this was about last year, I believe, 2 years ago, maybe. They were blueberry picking. Some person saw about 4 of them, or a family of them, they were saying, as they were picking berries.
Huh. Well, that's they. I hear that Mel was talking about that out in Oregon on the reservation out there. That when the berries and stuff come in season, that they said the Bigfoot migrate. They'll follow the food, and you know I don't ever hear a lot of people talking about that, but that makes total sense to me. I mean that's what we do. I mean we follow the food source, right?
Yeah, or they get dropped off.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody's dropping them off.
Yeah. You mean
my sister said the same thing on that one about my sister was a pipe carrier. And kind of like a medicine person. But when that 6 mile tracks showed up, before I even heard of those tracks or the sightings that were the ones I casted, this was like about a month prior to that happening. She told me that they dropped 2 Bigfoot off.
Who dropped them off?
That's what I asked my sister, and she wouldn't tell me. I said, who dropped them off? Well, that sounds like UFOs to me.
Okay. If you ever find out what the answer to that is, promise you'll text me and tell me.
I will.
Yeah, that's funny. That's great.
But, yeah, talking about the portals, that's my theory on it, or that's my take on it.
Yeah.
The medicine men would choose, and that's where they would get their powers from, these portals. They just pop up in various spots. And there's for example, there's a Ojibwe ceremony called that you can do some research on this, the tent shaking ceremony.
Tent shaking?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm writing this.
The medicine men back then would have these ceremonies, and they would. I'm not going to go too much in detail, but they would have these ceremonies in a tent, and these tents are made out of strong poles.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have, and when they built them, they'd have the strongest men try to bend these poles, and they would talk to the spirits. I don't do this, or I don't practice it because I don't think it's not, because I'm a Christian.
Right.
But women were not allowed at these ceremonies. My grandmother told me this. She witnessed it as a girl. And these tents, the medicine men would go inside. They'd put a bell on top, and they'd be in there singing and pounding a drum. And then all of a sudden, the top of the teepee would start shaking. You could hear the bell moving. She said she saw this top of the tent moving, shaking, and then sparks would be flying out of it. Then the top of the tent of the teepee would rock and back and forth to the point where it's almost touching the ground, back and forth. That's how powerful these medicine men were back then.
Wow.
You don't see that too much anymore.
Oh, I've never seen anything
like that. Not around here anyway. Maybe in Canada, but
Yeah.
Not too much around here.
Yeah, and none of the men in the tribe could move the poles by themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's an awesome story, man. Hey Mel,
But they would talk to animal spirits,
yeah,
and they had a ceremony here a while back in counseling. They were not allowed to film it, but I watched that ceremony, but I think it was fake.
I got you. Hey Don, actually Mel Scahan's watching us right now. Hey Mel, how are you? Say hi to Mel, Don. That's
Hi, Mel.
That's the gentleman in Oregon that I was telling you that we had on the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Native American elder out there, super nice man. So. Yeah, I really enjoyed. You guys need to get together. I think you and Mel would hit it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I
Hey,
would like that.
yeah, I'm sure you would. Mel's a super. I thoroughly enjoyed my time talking with him. Hey, Don, if someone wants to follow up with you, or if they ever want to come and see some of your art, or just come out and visit, maybe, what's the best way for them to get? Are you on social media?
I'm on Facebook.
Okay, so
Plus
just
my phone, if people want to call me or if you got any.
well, don't give your phone number out right now. But if they want to get a hold of you on Facebook, just look up Don Sherman.
Yep.
Up just where should they look? Ball Club, Minnesota.
Deer River.
Deer River, Minnesota. Okay, that's the best way to do it, folks.
That's my address. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Mel said to tell you hi, Don.
Okay, hi, Mel.
you need to get a hold of him because I'm telling you right
Yeah.
now, I would love to go fishing with you too. That would be one of the best trips ever. I'd like
that.
Yeah, Mel, if you're ever going to be in Minnesota or around there, you got to call me because I will drive the 7 hours to go up there, and I'll buy you guys dinner and we'll go fishing. So
That's good to me.
I know that would be fun. I'm telling you. Hey Don, I knew this was going to go quick. Andrea, thank you so much for the hospitality, and you guys were awesome. And Don, promise if something else happens up there, please get a hold of me. I'd love to talk with you about it.
Yeah, and maybe we'll talk about the dragons.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
That live along the river. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great story. We'll do that next time I have you on. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, Don. Thank you, buddy. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me on.
It was my pleasure, and I'll see you later. I didn't. Okay. Aren't you proud of me? I remembered. Thank you, Don.
Okay. You have a great evening.
You too. There he goes, Don Sherman. Everybody, just a really really nice man, and Andrea as well is just awesome. That is going to wrap it up for me tonight. The Unknown File Show. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to Facebook. You can always message me here on the podcast or the replay that I put on the stream, and I will get back to you. We'll be back at it next week. Until then, be safe, be good to one another. We're all in it together, and I'll see you next time on Unknown Files. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. We're going back to regular programming on the Outdoor Call Radio Network. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. We'll see you on Saturday on the Saturday morning show, 7 to 9. If you need something, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you soon. And thanks for listening on the show. It means a lot, everybody. I'll see you later. Good night.